Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel today for the 10th Alliance War of Season 39. Today is a pretty big war for us. We're facing D69, and in the standings before this war, we were in first, they were in second, and they're the only alliance that is less than 2 wins behind us. They're 1 win behind us. So if we win this war, it essentially locks our season in, because we'll have 2 wins above everyone as well as better attack bonus. If we lose this war, we will still be in first, however, it will only be by attack bonus, and yeah. So, need to push pretty hard this war. My team is Doom, Apocalypse and Cable. First fight there was just Apocalypse versus Korg, no nodes basically. And yeah, this is going to be a pretty interesting war for me. Got couple of really interesting fights, but this one here is definitely not one of them. It's Doom against Dragon Man on Path 7. I ended up leaving the half suicides on for this matchup just because, well, I've got willpower healing from the ineptitude debuff Dragon Man is going to be placing, and I'm not going to be using specials because this no puts armor break on knockdown, and yeah. This is pretty much just a nothing fight that's there to path split. And yeah, it's a bit on the longer side just because we're not using specials. But it's about as basic as it gets, and we finish on a full yellow bar. So this next fight up is probably the one I was most worried about this war. It is Apocalypse versus Black Widow Clairvoyant on node 22. So this node has Hazard Shift, Shock and Incinerate. It also has Insult to Injury, so whenever I have debuffs on me, my parries can fail. So the plan for the start of this fight was to get an Incinerate on me, develop my Incinerate immunity, and then for the most part I'm going to be hitting in just during the Incinerate phase. Claire is a tactic champion, so these shocks are going to cause me to glance, as well as the buff immunity and the unsteady debuff. And right now the fight is not looking that good. We're backed up into the corner. But here we throw off our first special 2 in the Incinerate phase, and this just does a huge amount of damage. Takes it down to just over half health. And now we've also got that concussion active, which I believe is 35% ability accuracy reduction, which is just going to slow down the shocks. If we hit at shock phase, it's potentially going to stop unsteady or buff immunity. And yeah, second special 2 almost finishes her off. She's also at 20 clairvoyance charges now, which means she's not going to be getting power gain from my immunities, and the third special 2 finishes her off. So it's a very clean fight there, I'd say, and Apocalypse is pretty solid counter because that fight is very awkward in terms of finding an option for. And then this next fight is my other really interesting fight this war. It is Doom against Dr. Doom on node 26. So this node has Conflictor, has Hazard Shift, Bleed and Shock, and it also has Crumbling Armor. So best matchups here are probably Magneto or Apocalypse with a Mr. Fantastic Petrify. However, their map was really well designed, especially in the 3 paths after this, that I just could not find a safe way to fit those. So I ended up assigning myself Dr. Doom here with a White Magneto pre-fight. And the strategy here is basically just only hit during the shock phase, use special 3s, special 1s, not going to go for special 2s because the Incinerates will trigger Conflictor. Because of my White Magneto pre-fight, I'm not going to be applying any debuffs if I'm not using special 2s. And I'm also going to be baiting out special 1s. I could push him to special 2, but I just didn't really see the point in risking it, to be honest. I know there's no real risk of timing out here because I've done this fight in the off-season unboosted, and I managed to solo it. I believe it took like 4.5 minutes, but yeah, he won't time out to this matchup. And also, this Doom was placed with low Mystic Dispersion, I think 2 or 3 points, which is just very nice because it means I'm not going to have to bait out nearly as many special 1s. There I go for a heavy attack, pretty much just to build power. Now I'm going to combo into special 3. And yeah, this is pretty much the entire fight. It's a very slow fight. It's obviously not a great matchup. It's long and it's basically just a case of can you play well for around 3 minutes. That is essentially what this fight is. Then playing it really safe, really slow. There's no need to risk going for special 2s or pushing Doom to special 2s. The low Mystic Dispersion just speeds things up a bit because I'm going to have to bait a lot less special 1s, deal with a lot less of Doom's aura. I'm not actually that great at dexing Doom's special 1, however in this fight I was doing pretty good at it. I believe I didn't get hit at all in it, so yeah. Believe maybe 1 or 2 more shock phases after this one he should go down. My special 3s are dealing around 10%, which for Doom is not a lot, but this is a rank 5 defender as well. Here I could have gone for a special 2. The 2 incinerates that stuck probably would have finished him off. However, I just decided to wait it out. Here he goes into the bleed phase again and my aura's expired. I could have probably just comboed into special 3, but yeah, I go for the heavy attack there, stop too many bleeds applying, and the special 3 will finish him off. So, obviously not the best matchup, very long fight, but as long as you play well, it is quite easily soloable. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with how that fight went in the end. So, now we're on path 7 in section 2. This first fight is a Tigra, and this is just a nothing placement. There's essentially no nodes here on Tigra. All of the path 7 nodes are reliant on the defender having a shrug ability pretty much, which Tigra does not have. So, yeah. Don't really understand this placement. I think there are other champions who don't shrug that are worth putting on path 7 just for the option split, but Tigra can be taken by most of the usual path 7 counters, Omega Red, Apocalypse, whatever. So yeah, this is just a really basic fight. I could have gone in with Apocalypse, but just went with Doom for safety with the power control in case her AI just decided that it didn't want to throw a special or something. And yeah, this special 2 here will finish her off. Pretty generic fight there. Next up is going to be this HitMonkey. Now this node has like a different form of ebb and flow knockdown. It's 75% protection with a 15-second window after it, and it also doesn't shrug debuffs when the protection comes back. Going to be using Apocalypse here, and this is a really simple fight. I'm just going to build up to my special 2, heavy attack to knockdown, throw my special 2, and that would deal a huge amount of damage. HitMonkey special 1, it's slightly risky to punish, however the way that I do it is I dex the last bullet really early, so you'll see there I dash back way before the bullet actually applies. So that means essentially that my dex window, I'm dodging the bullet at the end of it, which means I can attack in sooner. I believe this HitMonkey didn't have Limber active, so I don't know what D69 were doing with their masteries on defense placement, but yeah, not complaining. And yeah, I believe I just throw a special 1 into protection here, and it will finish him off. So yeah, very simple fight there. Next up is Doom against Rintrah on node 47. So this node has Rich Get Richer and Aspect of Evolution. Now I believe I took this fight in, might have been War 7 or 8, whichever one was against TCN. In that war I had the Odin pre-fights, which meant I was constantly winning Rich Get Richer. And that fight took around 1.5 to 2 minutes, if I remember correctly. This fight takes forever. I don't have the Odin pre-fights. Aspect of Evolution actually builds to a pretty dangerous level in this fight, because it just goes on for so long. He does have Rich Get Richer on him for a fair bit of the fight, because to be honest, I just don't do that good of a job of keeping staggers up. And also, once Aspect of Evolution starts building, it gets pretty difficult to always have a stagger when he crosses a bar of power. There he was not throwing his special 2, so I decided to go for a combo, go up to my special 3, just so that I can power drain him. There he actually does reach 10 mystical charges, however he's not in the corner, so he doesn't get unstoppable. And yeah, it's still a relatively safe fight, however it's definitely a lot more dangerous without the Odin. There I don't know what I was doing, special 2 into the block, but yeah, he's going to go down in this combo. And yeah, pretty simple fight, it's just long, and with how much Aspect of Evolution builds up, can get slightly risky. So my final fight of this war is going to be Vision Arcus on node 48 using Dr. Doom. And yeah, this fight is like any Doom versus Arcus fight. Essentially, I'm going to cycle special freeze, steal all the power gains. There's really not much to it. Arcus is a tactic defender, however immune to armor break, which means he's not going to put any cold snaps on us. So the only debuff is the unsteady if he uses a special. I believe he does use a special 3 in this fight, but Doom just is not going to take much damage from it. So yeah, pretty basic matchup. As for the war itself, it was really close. I believe the final score was 5-5 and we won on time. So we actually had a really, really bad start. I believe we died 4 times in the first 50 or so fights. And then D69 had 1 death at that point. Then they started dying a bit more. We actually went for an Omega Red ban in this war, and it ended up working out really well. 3 of their deaths were to Conflictor and Mortal Abomination mini-bosses. So yeah, we started on 4 deaths, they had 1, then they died 3 times. 2 of those were Conflictor, Immortal Abomination, and one of the battle groups. So then it was 4-4, then we died again to Norboss in my battle group. And then, so at this point we thought we probably lost. Then Ibom got another kill and we ended up winning. So thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.